Okay, so thanks everyone. Thank you to all the participants for joining us for another training session of the Network of Resources webinar series, where we have been since many weeks already exploring every week cloud platform services that are available on the Nord portfolio. And for the record, actually, this session is the last session of the current season before we go on a summer break. So we're very happy to present for the very first time the Food Security Explorer, known until now as a food security thematic exploitation platform, or food security TEP, that provides access to Earth observation data and services and processing capabilities for agriculture, aquaculture, smart farming practices, etc. So basically everything related to monitoring of crops, of water bodies, soils. Probably the Food Security Explorer is a good platform to look at. So we're having today Nicolas Corti from Vista to present to us an overview of the platform with a focus on two main models, the data analytics and management model, more for data and products access, and then the service runner model, more for data processing as a service. So as usual, we will hand it over to you, Nicolas. And then for all the participants, please feel free to write to us your questions in the chat. We will take them either as the presentation progresses, but we also have a Q&A session at the end before I hand it over to Federico for a walkthrough at the Nord portal and the sponsorship requests process. So please, Nicolas, the floor is yours.
Thanks for the warm presentation. I'll share my screen here. Can you see it?
See if it's coming. Not yet, but I assume it's coming. We still cannot see it.
Okay, let me just check what's going on. I'm still sharing screen. All right.
You can see it now. Perfect.
All right. Welcome again. My name is Nicolas Corti. I'm in charge of the first level support by the Food Security Explorer. I also work as a DevOps engineer in Vista, remote sensing and geoscience. And also we work together with our technical partner CGI, which they are also our second level support. So today I will present you the Food Security Explorer, briefly what it is, and then I'll go with some demos right into the platform. So basically the Food Security Explorer aligns with the paradigm shift of bringing the users to the data. Here you can access the satellite datasets and process these directly by using a range of available generic applications. And it also provides a service to efficiently generate spatial information in a cloud environment and also to download the resulting products. So you have access to the data, you can process the data in the platform, and then later on you can use it for further processing, visualize it on the platform, do some data analytics, and also if you have some web map services options, you can also visualize this on your own front end. So regarding to the datasets, we have the Copernicus datasets, but also datasets provided by our scientific users that have shared along these years, last years, have shared their collections. So you have also access to these other datasets. We have also different applications such as QGIS, RStudio, Jupyter Hubs to code, to prototype your algorithms, also Snap capabilities. And as well, we have the API that you can use for automating and do more automatic processing. So today in demo, I will show you these four user interfaces. First of all, the data analytics and management. Then I will show you how does the service runners work, what it is. Also, I will show you how you can start prototyping your algorithms, coding, and also some enhanced functionalities. So I'll switch to my browser. Okay, first of all, this is our landing page. Very useful for you as end user to gather first information. Today I will show you just this tab, the first information for users. So here you have, under these first time users, you have some information on how to create an account, what the steps you have to do to create an account. Also, we have this opportunity with a NOR sponsorship. Federico will tell us more about it at the end of this webinar. And we also have, very important for you users, is our user manual, where you can see everything, how does it work, how the platform works, what you have to do, how do you have to access the API, etc. And also we have for our users some tutorials that you can reproduce just but by reading it. So for example, here, let's say we want to use this service, and what do you have to do to use this service? Just for you to know, we are rebranding our platform. We will get a new platform the next month. So all this information will be in a different format, but you will get this information just for you to know that it will be in a different format. Also, we are working on a new web page, etc. So I will go to our portal. Once you have your account, you can log into the platform, and the first what you see is our data analytics and management user interface. So here, just for you, let's say, to compare, this would be something like a GIS area where you can search for data in your Explorer and you can play around with the data you have found, like a normal Earth observation exploring that we all know by different providers. So in this platform, we have our map layers. Once we have found our data sets, we will add it to this map, and you will see them here listed. We also have this option, how to discover the data. I will go in the demo through these options. And you also have some settings option. For example, I want to render this in a Mercator projection to have it more in a metric way. And you also have access to the other UIs that I've mentioned before. Advanced capabilities, the service runner, the code, and also access to our user manual, the help options. So for you today, I will briefly demonstrate the data analytics and management UI. I will search for some data, show you how does it work and what can you do here. So in the data discovery, we have some subcategories, and they all relate to the information stored in the platform. So the catalog is the satellite reference output products that have been stored here. Also, we have some own collections that our scientific users have made it public available for everybody. These events are also output products from the platform, and I will tell you more about it. My storage is everything what I've done on the platform. You can find it here, and also external web mapping services that are available also on the platform. Regarding the catalog, let's say for this demo, I will show you how to look, for example, some Sentinel-2 data. So I select the catalog satellite, and then I use the collection Sentinel-2, and then I look for, let's say, Sentinel level 2A. As always, as normal Error Observation Explorer, I can select for a date. Let's say June, last month, for the whole month. And then I can also select an area of interest. I will show you for this demo some burned areas. So I know last month there were some wildfires around this area in California. So let me just check. And also you have more options like cloud coverage, semantic search, orbit number, etc. I will leave it everything as default, and I will search in this area for June. So this is all the information available with 10% cloud coverage. And yeah, let's see what we can do with the first one. So I'm happy with this result. Then I'll add this to the map. As you can see, the layer is here on the map layers UI listed, and then I can close it and see what I can do with this map layer. Oh yeah, it's in true color. Okay, so I have to, by default, will be always displayed in true color. So the layers, they have several options. I can toggle visualization settings. I can do some area statistics. If I have many layers, I can also use the swipe tool to compare between two or more layers. And also I can clone these layers. So first of all, I will show you the visualization settings. So by default, we have these presets, true color, but I also can select the false color, and it will be automatically uploaded, visualized in false color, and also some presets like an NDVI or an NDMI. I have also the option to select a single band if I want to see just one single band, or if I want to make my own or visualize in my own band combination. So for example, I will select here the same false color one for Sentinel-2 level 2A data. Sorry, no, 4 and 3. And I also can play around with the histogram values, and you can display as you wish the band combination and the histogram to enhance for maximum and minimum values. This is okay. I also can do some area statistics. For example, I am interested in this burn area, so I select area statistics, and then I just draw an area of interest, and I see I want to get the area statistics for band 8, and then I apply it, and then I'll get those histograms and pixel values, amount of pixels for this with these values. I can also compare, let's say I add a new statistic, area statistics, and I want for the same area the values for band 4, and I also apply this one, and then it will be displayed. I can make it bigger, and then you have the values for the different bands within this area for you as remote sensor to get a first insight of the data you are dealing with. And obviously you can export if you want this graph, you can export it. So this is related. Also, if you want to know, we have per pixel. You can also see the values per every pixel if you click it on the map. Here you have listed all the values for all bands for this pixel, for this point. Also nice to see for briefly and fast and exploration with the data you might need for further processing. Once you're done, let's say you are happy with this data set and you want to use it for further processing, you can go to the next step. So I go back to the search option and then I say, okay, this scene works for me. I already play around it and has all information needed for me, and then I can add it to my bookmarks. Bookmarks are just like favorites. I want this scene to have it as favorite. So I just click here and you have the possibility to create your own favorites folder, bookmark folders. I already create a new one for this test, for this demo, and you just have to select the bookmark, the folder you have created, and add it to the folder. And the same process works for every other data set available. So you can search it, you can display it, you can play around with the combinations, and you can store it as favorite for further processing. So I will move on to the next user interface we have, and it's called our service runner. And this is where you have the place. This is the place where you can start processing your data. So I will go here to the service runner interface. And the first thing you see is these three tabs. So you have a run tab, a monitor tab, and a developer tab. These may be different according to the account you have. Let's say if you're a guest user, you won't have the developing capabilities available. If you're an expert user, then you can go. You will have this developer tab, and you can prototype and develop your own algorithm within this platform. So the run tab is used to process data with available services on the platform, available algorithms. Monitor, once you have started a processing job, you can monitor these jobs, and develop, as I said, to develop your own algorithm. The platform provides three different kind of processing types. The first one is the standard processing, and it is related to, well, the standard processing is you already selected your data sets and you want just to process them. These the already selected data sets. You use the standard processing. The systematic processing, you just tell the system, look for all data sets available according to this criteria and within this time range, and just start processing. So you don't give, within systematic processing, you don't give the system a file, you just give some filtering options. In the standard processing, you give the system either one or more files. So that's the difference between these two processing. And the event processing is more related to when you want to monitor different parameters after an event has occurred. And with event, I mean it could be a flood, it could be a wildfire, it could be some vegetation stress that happened, let's say, 2 weeks ago, and you want to start processing and to see what will happen, how these different algorithms or these, let's say, NDVI or soil moisture change after the time since this event occurred. And the same thing for all the other two options. So you have the same type of processing jobs that you can monitor and develop. For today's demo, I will show you just the standard processing. How does it work? So I will go here to standard processing, and here the first thing you see is all the services available for you to use. We have parallel processors, application processors, etc. For example, an application processor would be the QGIS, or a parallel processor could be the Actifier that I can show you today. You also can have the opportunity, or you also have these filtering options to see just the processor, the services owned by me or for a specific user. I will filter just here because I want to show you this Actifier service, just for you to see how does it work. Once I filter it, I can select it. On every single box you have the name, what this service does, etc. What was the owner, so for you to search around if you don't know what you need. For this demo, I will use the Actifier. And for this demo, I need Sentinel-2 tiles. Remember, we have already searched and looked for these datasets on the DAMA UI. Now we can start processing. So I've added already these Sentinel data to my bookmark, and then I'll just look for them. So I'll go to my bookmarks. If I don't have, if I haven't added these data sets to my bookmarks, I also can search for them with a magnifying glass. And it's also as an explorer. You with satellite, select the level you need, etc., etc. And then at the end, you add it to the processing inputs. So since I already have my favorites folder here, I click it here. I'll go inside to see which kind of data is there added as favorite, and I will use this Sentinel L1C dataset. As I said, in standard processing, you give the service the files you have already selected. By systematic processing, you tell the system search in this catalog all the data sets available according to these parameters. So I have here placed my input data set, my input scene, Sentinel-1C. It depends on the service. You will have more or less input fields. It depends what the service needs from you as input. In this case, we just need a level 1C scene. Then I go next to the output ingestion, and here again it depends on the service what it offers as available. If you have to define the style for everything, for any layer, or just to define the output location. In this case, by default will be selected my own private location, but if I want to store the output of the service in a different one, I just can select it here. For example, there are many folders, output folders to use. I will keep my default, my own private collection, and then I'll click run. Pay attention to what will happen when I click run service. The system will automatically change from the run tab to the monitor tab once I click run service, because the service already started, and obviously the next thing you want to do or you want to see is what's going on with the service I have just started. So I'll click on run service. Now, of course, every service has a cost, operation costs. It depends on the service, how much is it. We have these FSTEP coins, and this is our FSTEP currency, and you get this kind. You can buy these coins with our different packages, and also you can have them if you use the network of resources sponsorships. That's it. So for this service, we will need 4 coins, and my current balance is this amount. So I will just continue. I say okay. And then, as I said, I now automatically switched to the monitor tab, and then I can see my standard processing jobs, and here's my active file. So here you can see you can cancel the job, you can clone this job, you can share this job with other users on the platform, and also you can see the sub-jobs. In this case, since I've used only one scene, you only see one job. But since this is a parallel processor, if you have input more than 2 scenes to process using this active file processor, then you will have correspondingly more sub-jobs. Once you go to the jobs, the sub-jobs, you have a list of jobs, and if you click them, then you can see what's going on. In this case, job was already scheduled on our backend, our Kubernetes backend. The data was already fetched. The job is in processing right now, and we will wait for the ingested outputs. The outputs will be then stored in your folder, and then will be completed. You also have the chance here to see the input parameters you have chosen, what was output, and also the logs. The logs are very important to see why it went wrong, if that's the case. It's very important when you are developing new services to see, okay, here is I'm missing something, here I have to change the permissions, etc., etc., etc. This is also important for you if you want to go back to an old job that you see this job and with these input parameters gave you the best results. In this case, obviously, it's just a test service. There's nothing to change here in the input parameters, but in other more advanced services, you can play around with these input values. And this is also a nice thing to see and to go back for you once you realize that for this job, the resulted outputs were fine. So I will let this processing, and then I show you the same processor I've tested before. How does it look like? So I go inside and there is my green check, completed, everything fine. I have my logs here. Okay, everything fine, and I also have my output files. So here you have a list of all scenes that were processed by your service, and you can also add them to the data analytics and management UI. So if I click in this option and then I go back, I can see my processed scene with the ActiveFire service. All right. So just to recapitulate, we have these three tabs, these three processing types. And now I will show you how you can, as expert user, how you can develop your new algorithms. If you click in this option, you also, as I said, have the opportunity to develop different kind of processors. Let's say we want to develop a processing service, and I just go here inside and I can create a new service. So first of all, you have to define what kind of processor you want to develop, and also the system gives you some templates to help you get started. So in this case, for this demo, I will show you just a basic processor, how you would develop a basic processor using a base processor template. So I know that I want this one, I use this template, and I define the name. Okay, there are also some validations that take place. So I will name it very important. Those not we have those required fields and not required fields. My recommendation is to always fill the not required fields for you to know what have you developed, if this is a test thing or not, for you to go back once you have developed a lot of services. So always use the description fields. Okay, I'm done with my basic metadata, processor metadata. I click in OK, and then you are redirected to this interface where you can still change the things you have already described on the last step. The descriptions, you also get some templates, Dockerfile and script templates for you to get started. Here you can define your inputs and output definitions. So let's go through these options one by one. So here within the descriptor is all about the metadata for your service. How much does it cost? What version it is? It is a parallel processor or a processor. You can change it. Let's say we want a parallel processor, and then I have to apply, etc. If you know how many megabytes of RAM or storage or CPU cores you need for your processor, you also can define it here. Let's say you are developing some machine learning stuff, then you need more GPUs, you can use it here. But once you define the description of your algorithm, also you have the sharing list. Let's say you are developing an algorithm and all your colleagues need to have access to this service to keep developing or enhancing your algorithm. You can share them here. Of course, your colleagues also have to have an account here on the Food Security Explorer. The next option you have is the sources. And this is basically how the platform deploys your algorithms. So it is a cloud, a native platform, and all the algorithms developed by you, they have to be Dockerized, and therefore you need a Docker file. And depending on how you develop your algorithms, you will need either this entry point in the Docker file or not. This depends on your service, but definitely every service on the platform has to be Dockerized. So a familiarity with Docker tool technology is needed here. If you need support from our side to get your algorithm integrated on the platform, you can always contact us and we will help you integrating your algorithm in the platform. Also the input definitions. What does your algorithm need? What kind of data? It needs an area of interest, it needs a JSON file, it needs a Sentinel data, etc., etc., etc. You have to define it here in the input definitions. Just the number of inputs in your code will be the parameters that you pass to the code for processing, and the same for the output definitions. So you define how many output files your algorithm will deliver. Let's say your algorithm delivers an NDVI, delivers a leaf area index, delivers soil moisture index, or whatever. You can define here as you need it. If your outputs need and style, so here we have seen this GeoTIFF that already has a style. You can also define this style and input it here. Layer style. This is the default layer style by GeoServer. The format is the SLD, style layer descriptor. This one you have to put it here. Also, if you want to name it, if you want to name your outputs in a specific name based on a regular expression thing, you also can use it here. You have these capabilities, and also to define if it's GeoTIFF or Shapel, or let's say if it's a CSV file or a list or something different, you can just put it as other, and that's it. For this demo, I already created a test, a test algorithm just for you to see this one. The important thing, I guess, for you now to understand is how these sources work. So first, I've created my algorithm, very advanced. My algorithm takes a CSV file and reads it, and then saves it with a different name. And then I get at the end an input that everything went fine. And I use this library from Python that helps me pass in the inputs and the outputs parameters as arguments. So now I'm ready with my Python code. Then I have to define my Docker file. Okay, I will use a Python 3.11 Alpine version to keep it light for the cloud processing. Define my inputs folders, install the packages I need, and I will pass the workflow sh script as an entry point. The workflow sh script is very important since here is defined, the script defines where are the inputs and the outputs. Remember we defined it here, input and output definitions. So these variables have to be defined here. For example, the output directory in my case is called collection ID, and the output definition is also called collection ID. So this is how the system knows, okay, you mean this collection ID, I'll take this one and I'll pass it here. And at the end I say execute with Python my algorithm and give my Sentinel data as input, and this is my output, store them there. And once it is done, I have to build it, build my Docker file. Here you have an explanation or a message if the build was okay or not. If it went wrong, you will have here an error with some notification telling you what went wrong with your Docker file or permissions or whatsoever, and then you just have to click it to change it and then build it again. So normal Docker processing, developing steps. Okay, in this case I already built it, it went fine, everything is ready to be used. Then I just go back to my processing run tab, start processing. Then I select my tests. Exactly. I just need my input data. In this case, just a small CSV file already stored on the platform. And then I go here and I use my default collection and run it. It will cost me 1 coin, etc. Again, I will be switched to my monitoring tab, and here I will see how's it going. In our case, the last job we started is done, and we have our output files, and that's it. Nice. I can go back here and let's search for my storage, and I search for my processing outputs, and I filter it just the collections owned by me. Close it, and here I have my default output collection with the outputs I already processed. And here I also have the opportunity or the capability to add it to the map. And it's added and it's loading and it will be displayed. Okay, that will be everything regarding the developing. and let me show you the next UI. Here we have a Jupyter Hub available for you. I'm sure you all noted these Jupyter notebooks, very useful for you once you are prototyping your algorithm and you want to test some things. The platform provides you already with this Jupyter Hub in two forms. One is the minimal environment, where you have just Python available for you, and we also offer a data science environment where you have more capabilities and power, and also Python, R, and Julia. If you develop more with R, you can use R here. You also have the API available, as I'll show you. Where is it for security? Let me show you a user manual, the API. Here is the documentation on how to use our API. So you can use these notebooks and use the API to access the data on the platform, to download it or to push it, and then do whatever you need when you're prototyping your. And last but not least, we have these advanced options where you can manage all the stuff you have on the platform. You can manage your storage, delete, create, change data sets, names, etc. You also can create groups, share with your colleagues, get reports about your processing, how many coins you have available, what about your storage, if you are already using everything you have, etc. So basically management tasks you can find here on the advanced option. You can also see your groups you belong to. Very important if you work in a project with several teams, several team members. It's very useful to have a track of what you have shared and not. And that is something just for me because I am the administrator, but you will have just these two options. So we are close to the end, and I'll just do a small recapitulation. We have our data analytics and management tool, which is used as an Earth observation explorer to find and select data. We also have our service runner tools where you can start processing jobs, develop jobs, and monitor jobs. And we also have our own Jupyter Hub for you to algorithm prototyping. And we have our event options. Yes, these ones here. So that's it from my side. I guess I pass to you, Federico, so you can tell us more about the network of resources sponsorships.
Yes, thank you.
If you have, there are so many, if there are questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Nicola, for the presentation and the demo as well. So few people, a person is asking if you can make the presentation available after the session.
Sure. Well,
okay, perfect.
Yes, so, no problem.
Okay, we will send it to all the participants. And also another person is asking for the contact in case of future needs. So I assume they're asking for your contact, Nicola.
Yes.
So we can provide it. And they're also asking maybe for the GitHub repository for if there are any sample notebooks for further to initiate application development on your platform. I don't know if there is anything also.
We have the tutorials, yes, but if you need something more specific related to developing, let's say you are already an expert user and you want to develop your own, just contact me and I'll get in touch and I will help you with those files, those codes to let you know how you can develop.
Okay.
Just write me an email. I don't know, I'll share with you the presentation and then you share with all the participants. I don't know what would be the best
way. We can provide the presentation to everyone, and it has your contact so they can
exactly.
And if there are any useful links to share, we can also provide them with them. So
yes. Then I'll do it like this. All the contact emails, links are in the presentation. I'll share with you and you can share with everybody.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. I don't know if there are further questions. I have very quick question. I was wondering for the event processing capability, I was wondering how, because if I understood correctly, it allows you to do analysis and monitor parameters after a specific event. Floods or fires or, I don't know, vegetation stress. But how does this event information actually get to the platform? Does the user have to provide this type of information, or there is some, I don't know, automatic alerting system in the platform that provides initial information to trigger the processing?
Now, obviously you have to, do you see my image, my screen? Do you still see it?
Yes.
Okay. I went here to the event processing option. And to answer your question, you have to tell the system when this event started and where it happened and what do you need. So for example, here we have some templates, some event templates, just for you to show you this demo special template. This template calculates a backscatter, Sentinel-1 backscatter, let's say index, and this NDVI index. So it's a service that is composed for many services. And here you decide, okay, this is my event, one description, and here I say, okay, this event happened somewhere here, and then I say I want to monitor it from July 1st to July the 24th. And then I have to configure my event. If I want to have these two indexes, or I tell them just calculate the NDVI, or I need the backscatter, you have the options here. And then once you create the event, the system automatically first go in a, let's say in a bulk mode. So it will look for the July 1st to July 24th, all the past data set available based on your criteria, and start processing. And after it will, once there is a scene available based on your criteria, the system will process automatically for you. You have obviously to go back to the monitor to see how the processor is going.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, super interesting. Thanks a lot. We only have 5 minutes left, so I will quickly hand it over to you, Federico. And please, all the participants will provide the contact of Nicola, and feel free to directly contact him in case you need further information or questions.
Thanks. I'm happy to share and be in contact with you.
Can you hear me?
Federico, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll quick share my screen. Maybe. Can you see it? Sorry, but my connection is quite slow.
Yes, we can see it, Federico.
Okay, perfect. So How to access the services that Nicola showed to us before. First of all, you need to go to the Network of Resources portal. To do so, you have to navigate to the web address nor-discover.org, and you will land on the Network of Resources home page that can already give to you some useful information about what the Network of Resources is in its initiative, and what are the different numbers related to the NOR, for instance, the number of approved projects, the number of providers onboarded, and so on. Then you can navigate through the menu to some useful pages, like the news page, where you have all the news related to the latest providers and services available through the NOR, and so on. The outreach page, where you will also find this session of the NOR webinar series. As soon as it is available through YouTube, you will also have a link here on the outreach page. And then, of course, the NOR portfolio, that is the portal to access all the different services. You can go there by clicking on Access It Here, and it will redirect you to the Network of Resources portfolio, where you have all the different providers and the services available. You can search for a specific service by going to the text search or by applying some filters, or you can just scroll down the list until you find what you're looking for. For instance, in this case, we are looking for Food Security Explorer, or at the moment you will find it under Food Security tab. So you find it here, and you will have some useful details about the services, the collections available through this provider, and also a provider help desk link. This is really important because we always advise you to contact first the provider to understand if the services you are looking for are really helpful for your project. Then, once you have all this information, you can go to the pricing wizard to select the specific services that you want to ask for. First of all, you need to fill out the project type field, where you have to say if you're working on a commercial, research, pre-educational, or pre-commercial, or educational project. I want to remind you that only research, pre-commercial, and educational projects are eligible for ESA sponsorship. Let's say we are working on a research project, and then you have a list of the different services. You can select one by clicking on the tick box, and you can also change the number of units, in this case subscriptions, and the duration, in this case months. Then at the bottom of the page, you will have an overview of the cost that your request is as, in this case this one, and two different options. The first one is to purchase the services directly from the provider, and you can click on go to provider website to do so, or you can ask ESA for sponsorship. In this case, you need to select an option if you're working or not on an ESA project. Let's say we are not working on an ESA project, and if you are willing or not to co-fund the cost. Let's say no. Of course, there is a maximum amount of sponsorship that might be granted for the projects, that is 5,000 euros. So if your request exceeds this amount, you need to co-fund the cost. Then you click on Ask ESA for sponsorship, and you will be redirected to the form of the project itself. You need to fill it out starting from the project title, your name as project coordinator, work category, the email address that must be an organization email address. This is really important. We cannot accept requests that are coming from personal email addresses like Gmail or anything similar. The project organization name, country, web page, and address. Then you need to fill out all the fields related to the project, like the project objectives, so which are the final goals of your project, the implementation methodology that you are going to use to reach these goals, the expected results, and the justification for selected services and provider. This is why we advise you to contact first the provider, because we want to see why you are requesting a specific service and why this service or services is helpful for your research. Then the description of work done within the cloud environment. Also, this field is really important because the Network of Resources is an ESA initiative aiming to bring users inside the cloud environment and directly to the data, and not the contrary. So we really want to see that you're going to, let's say, work extensively inside the cloud environment. Then the geographical area of interest of the project. So where is the area you are working on, like a specific city or cities, the region, and so on. And if it's the first time or not that you are applying for an NOR sponsorship. If it's not the first time, this is really important. You will have to also say here the previous NOR sponsorship request ID that was assigned to the previous sponsorship request. And you also have to confirm that you have fulfilled all the commitments, like for instance, sending the set of slides. But we'll see it in a bit. Then, if you're working on an ESA project, you need to also put here, there will be more fields, the ESA contract number, the ESA technical officer, and so on. You will then have an overview of the resources you are requesting through the NOR. And the last thing that you need to do is to select the expected date of submission of the set of slides in the order of month and year. What is the set of slides? It is a mandatory document that you have to send at the end of the sponsorship period, so at the end of the project, let's say. And it has to be done in PowerPoint or any PowerPoint-like software. It has to have 4 to 5 slides where you say why and how you used the specific resources for your project. We don't want to see the specific outcomes of your project, but we want to see how you use the resources and if they were helpful or not for your project. Then you can or cannot, this is up to you, sign up for the NOR newsletter, but you must accept the ESA privacy policy. Once you have done all of this, you need to export the sponsoring request. It will create a PDF file. You need to download the PDF file, sign it, and if you're working on an ESA project, you have to have it also signed by the ESA technical officer, and email it to nor-sponsorship-request@esa.int. This will trigger the evaluation process that usually takes around 6 working days, but it might take also a bit longer. And if we need more information, we come back to you to ask for more information related to your project. This ends my part. I will give it back to you, Zainab.
Thanks a lot, Federico. So thank you for everyone for sticking with us. We will close it here. We're already a bit late. As we said, we will send you by email the presentation and Nicola contact if you want, so if you have further questions. This is, as I said, the last session in this season. So we will go on a summer break and we hope to see you in another season of the webinar series. Thanks, Nicola, for the nice demo presentation. Thanks, Federico, as always, for the NOR portal presentation. And see you soon, I hope.
Thank you too. See you soon.
Ciao.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.